All right, we're going to tackle a question that's, well, it's underneath everything. How we live, how we build societies, how we decide what's right and wrong. And honestly, it's more important right now than maybe ever before.
I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. If there is no divine blueprint, what makes your life valuable? Or mine? Is it just a social contract we all agree on? A warm feeling? Or is it maybe nothing at all? This isn't just for a late-night philosophy class. This is the source code our entire civilization is running on.
Look, this is a conversation that absolutely needs to happen. If this question gets your wheels turning like it does for us, then help us get more people in on it. Share this explainer, and let's really dig into the ideas together.
To really get our heads around this question, we've got to watch a kind of intellectual cage match. We're going to see two heavyweight ideas, two powerful worldviews collide.
So, in this corner, we've got the divine anchor, represented by the brilliant 13th century philosopher St. Thomas Aquinas. And in the other corner, the survival strategy, championed by the modern evolutionary biologist Bret Weinstein. This is the ancient versus the modern, the heavens versus the earth.
Okay, so let's start with Aquinas. His entire way of thinking is built on a foundation that is meant to be solid, unshakable.
And this right here, this is a total game changer of an idea. For Aquinas, morality isn't something we humans cooked up. Nope, it's a fundamental force of the universe, kind of like gravity. We don't invent it, we discover it. It's an objective truth that's literally woven into the fabric of reality.
Now, Aquinas didn't just say, "Believe me." He tried to build a logical case for it. He basically argued that if you trace back the chain of cause and effect, what caused that and what caused that, you eventually have to arrive at an ultimate source for everything, a first cause, a prime mover. For Aquinas, that source is God. And if God is the source of reality, then God is also the source of its moral laws.
And this is the crucial takeaway. In Aquinas' world, every single person has inherent dignity. Your value isn't based on how useful you are or how smart or strong. It is stamped into your very being by a creator. It's not something you can earn, and it's not something anyone can ever take away from you.
Okay, now let's hit the fast forward button. We're jumping ahead about 800 years to a completely different answer to our question. This one doesn't come from the heavens, but from the messy, beautiful struggle of life on Earth itself. Let's turn to Bret Weinstein.
From this perspective, morality isn't handed down from on high. It bubbles up from the bottom. It's not a divine command, it's an evolutionary strategy. Those behaviors we call moral, things like cooperation, fairness, loyalty, they survived and spread for one simple reason. They helped our ancestors form groups that could outcompete other groups. Morality, in this view, is a tool for survival.
And this leads to a radically different way of thinking about human value, instrumental dignity. Here, our worth isn't inherent, it's instrumental. It's useful. We treat each other with respect because it's a winning strategy. Cooperation helps the group survive, and so your value is tied to how you contribute to that success.
Okay, so now we've got our two contenders. One offers us that unshakable anchor. The other, a flexible rudder to help us steer. But, and this is a big but, what happens when you push each of these systems to its absolute limit? This is where things get really challenging.
And this slide just nails the central conflict, doesn't it? For Aquinas, moral law is universal. Lying is wrong, cruelty is wrong, period. It doesn't matter where you are or what the situation is. For Weinstein, morality is adaptive. What's considered moral can actually change depending on what the group needs to survive. The rules can bend.
Now, just look at how this plays out under pressure. When a crisis hits, Aquinas' system says you must hold fast to that moral law, even if it costs you everything. Its weakness? It can be too rigid, too brittle to handle the chaos of the real world. Weinstein's system says survival comes first. You bend the rules to live and fight another day. Its weakness? It can easily slide into a scary kind of relativism, where almost anything can be justified in the name of survival.
So this leaves us in a really tough spot. One system risks breaking apart, and the other risks drifting into darkness. So the big question becomes, is there a third way? Can we actually build a bridge between these two worlds?
What if we could have the best of both? What if we could design a moral framework that has the stability of that solid anchor, but also the flexibility of a rudder to steer through a storm? This is the promise of a new idea called survival cooperation ethics.
So, imagine a moral system with three distinct layers. At the very bottom, there's a universal floor. These are the non-negotiables: human dignity, a ban on cruelty, basic honesty. That's our anchor. Above that, there's context flexibility, which lets us adapt and make smart choices based on the situation. That's our rudder. And then at the very top, there's a tightly controlled emergency override, basically a break glass in case of emergency button for only the most extreme existential threats.
I think this is the perfect way to picture it. The universal floor provides the deep, unshakable roots that don't move. The context flexibility allows the branches to bend and sway on the wind so the whole tree doesn't just snap. It's a system designed for both incredible stability and resilience.
And let's be clear, this is not just some abstract thought experiment. This philosophical puzzle has become one of the most practical, most urgent challenges of our time.
I mean, we are living in an age of unbelievable power and unbelievable fragility. We've got AI, we've got global pandemics, and we have trust in our basic institutions crumbling all around us. The very operating system of our civilization is being stress-tested like never before. Having a solid shared moral framework isn't a luxury anymore. It's a survival imperative.
So, we're left with this final, crucial question. Can we find a way to hold on to that clear moral compass while also being wise enough to adapt to the storms that are definitely ahead? Because, finding that balance, that might just be the single greatest challenge our species has ever faced. What do you think?